Welcome to the One Podcast with Greg Riley, where I discuss the importance of spirituality, intuition, self-awareness, and emotional intelligence in today's busy lives. By expanding our intuition and spiritual connection, our lives evolve to places we can only ever dream of.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the One Podcast. This is a return return podcaster. I had so much feedback about Melanie last time about her being so direct. Well, not direct, but just be truthful, be honest, transparent, be really, say it as it is, right? And people might always really respect that. So Melanie, thanks for coming back on again into the podcast. I loved the last one. It was great. It had some, there was people who hated me for it, but most of it, 99%, was fantastic and positive. And look, I thank you again for jumping on.
Yeah, of course. I loved our conversation last time too, and so I am for sure honored to be back.
Oh, love it. All right. I gain most of my stuff from the clients I see.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to get your perspective on this about people who jump into relationships that are transactional, that I need you to sort of fix me. I'm coming in this to fill a hole up inside of my own self-worth.
Yeah.
It's, you do this and then I do this. What happens when someone actually jumps into a relationship that is sort of based on this very much a transactional, I'll give if you get, or I'll get if you give kind of stuff?
Yeah, well, I mean, it never turns out well, right? Even though the vast majority of people that it sucks, but it is kind of like that, right? It's like we have this expectation that it's the other person's job to make us happy.
Yes.
Right? So if I don't like what you're doing, it's your fault. If I'm triggered, it's your fault. It is very much like, what have you done for me lately? To your point, transactional, right? But in order to get love, you have to give it first. You have to give it freely, no strings attached. And that doesn't mean that they can be an asshole and you're just gonna shut up, right? That's not what that means.
Yeah.
But still, many of us are just, we give to get. And that is, well, it's unhealthy and it's unbalanced, and it doesn't end well. I'll just say that.
Does it have the same kind of inner feeling when someone is giving to get versus just giving because they want to?
Yeah, it feels extractive. Right?
Yeah.
Like you feel that, right? Like, words can lie, mannerisms and body language can lie, but energy can never lie.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we know it and we feel it, like we just feel it energetically, but our mind will lie to us and be like, oh no, it's fine. You're just overreacting. It's just your trigger, or, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But it feels extractive. It feels like taking. It feels like strings. It feels like conditions, right?
Yeah.
I'll love you if. I'll love you when. Right? Ew. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because, and this is why I'm saying this, is because you put a post up the other day about if you want to be treated like a queen, you got to treat him like a king. And
Yes.
I sort of put a post out on the back of that saying, well, ladies, if you've broken up from somebody, what were some of the reasons why? What were some behaviors in the relationship, the reasons that you broke up with them? But on the second note, if you were actually going to repair it, or you're going to a new relationship, what were you going to bring to a relationship? And I was pretty much astounded by the feedback. They were very good at labeling what was wrong with the men in the relationships.
Yeah.
But there was never really much about what are you bringing to the table.
Yeah. Yeah. So, a challenge I see in today's culture a lot, especially a lot of the men I work with express this to me, and I kind of see it out there with like certain posts and language that a lot of women are using. They have the expectation of, know my worth, right? I know my worth and I deserve to be treated like a queen, but they're actually maidens. They're princesses. They're not queens. A queen knows that her man deserves to be treated like a king, and it's not a I'll treat you this way if you treat me that way.
Yeah.
That's energy that she brings to the relationship. And it is also the expectation that it is reciprocated, right? And if it isn't, she'll call him out and call him forward.
Yeah.
Because a queen is an initiator for a king. So if you look back in time, okay, historically, let's just do some facts here so nobody wants to debate what I'm saying here. Okay? Do a little digging in history. Over time, men who have found their brilliance, who have found their genius, who have found their inner king, have found him when they have been loved by the right woman, by a queen, by a good woman, right? So what most people don't understand is the woman is the initiator. For such a long time, the feminine has been suppressed, but it's not this feminine that we think it is. It's not the boss babe. It's not the passive, really, really, really nice, too nice. No, that's not the feminine I'm talking about. The truth of the feminine, if you really want to look at it, think of like Mother Earth as a really great example, right?
Yeah.
He's loving, and she'll kill you simultaneously if you fuck with her, right?
You should put a cyclone down on you before you know it, right?
like she, she nurtures you, she loves you, but don't cross her, right? And it's so she's not just, think of it. You can also look at it like this too, right? Think of it as like a lioness, right? She is she's a predator. We are predators. Now, I'm not talking about power over or any of this like twisted shit, rape, pillage, war. I'm not talking about that. But we are apex predators, right? A lioness, a mother bear. Think of the predators in nature. They don't raise their young to be eaten. They don't raise their young to be prey. They don't raise their young to be victims. Yet we do. Think about that.
Funny, isn't that? Yeah.
And especially as women, even more so, I'm seeing it with a lot of men lately too, which is like part of the problem. Like a lot of men have forgotten their essence of being a man, right?
Yep.
So if you think about it for a second. I'm talking about pleasing. I'm talking about what society says is good. This makes you a good woman. This makes you a good mother. This makes you a good person. It almost always involves you acting like some form of prey. Look around at society. And so if we look at a lioness as an example, right? When she goes out, she is nourishing herself, right? She is nourishing herself with prey out there. She's not apologizing. She's feeding her family. She's feeding her young. She's feeding the lion, right? The male lion. She is nourishing herself. She is unapologetic, right? For us, nourishment is a lot of times money. Because money buys food to nourish. Money buys clothes. Money buys cars. Money buys houses, shelter, right? Yet we as women are meant to feel bad or wrong if we nourish ourselves, right? And if you think about historically over time, before the boss babe movement, we had to get our money from men.
Yep.
Right? And so even though I think that there was a lot of good in the feminist movement initially, right? It is so far out of skew, and it's convinced women that we have to be these boss babes or these like ultra bitches, right? Who have to somehow hate on men and be an ice queen and I don't need a man bullshit, right? Like we've
Yeah.
talked about this
Yeah.
before, but that is so far from the truth, right? So it's like we need to be in the middle here, not all the way over here where we are passive and pleasers and good, right? Think of like the puritanical bullshit
Yeah. Yeah.
and not way all the way over here of like super bitch either,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That I hate men and like teaches you like in the center is this queen, right?
Mm.
She loves the men. She knows the power and the impact of her king. And she honors him and she respects him and she adores him. And she submits to him and surrenders to him in certain aspects, right?
I'm going to go in now. You've said the word. You've said the magic word.
Submit, surrender, which one?
Submit. Both of them, right? Because soon as you say, and then I want you to explain more on this because soon as you say the word submit or surrender, women
Yes.
lose their shit.
Yes, they do. They do.
Why is that?
So we think somehow it means that we're weak. That's why. We think submit. What the fuck? Who's not submitting to anything or anyone? Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's like we've given up. That's what it means. You know how like where is this?
It's
Like
all like to do with it goes back into the patriarchy. Like they think that submitting is going back into that patriarchy model of, you know, I
yeah.
have no power, I have no say, that he's the head of the house, that, you know, I've got to please. That's the old way of thinking about submission.
Yes, yes. And whether women want to admit this or not, like deep in her soul, she knows that she does want to submit because I will just tell you, there is nothing sexier and more feminine in the bedroom than submitting to your man and in allowing him to just fully ravish and dominate you. Okay. And any woman that says bullshit, she is not in her feminine. She is in some kind of wound still, and she has never met a real man who's brought her that.
So on that, and because I love how we truly these conversations go with you, because you mentioned again, you know, you posted today about men and money and stuff like that. I've seen such a dynamic change. Like the guys I speak to now, they
Yes.
understand that money is not the driver of their success anymore. A lot of men have switching around to going, what drives me as a man today is my family. What drives me as a reason as to why I work so hard is my partner and my family. Like men have switched. Men are becoming this thing where, you know, you've got the Andrew Tate on one world where it's very much it's down that line. But I can't tell you how many men I'm teaching now that are going, Greg, I want to tap into my intuition. I want to tap into my self-awareness. I want to tap into that emotional resilience, emotional intelligence. And it's not going into the feminine, right? It's going into a very powerful archetype of the magician in the male side of the things where we're going, no, our real drive now, our reason why we exist, the reason why, you know, we get up every single day is because of this.
Do you have a question for me specifically?
Oh, sorry. And there's just a massive switch in this place. So you put a post the other day about, man, it's not about money anymore.
Yeah. So go ahead. What were you going to say?
Go. Yeah.
So it used to be,
So
right?
you said the other day about making money doesn't make you the man the other day.
Yeah. Yeah. So for such a long time, men have had that burden, right? And it truly, it can feel like a burden. It can feel like a heavy weight. I have to make the money or she'll leave me or she won't want me, right? And so men have been conditioned for a very long time to what? Protect and provide, right? And so in all of our minds, provide meant.
Yeah.
But if you really think about this for a minute, Who the said that only men can make the money and the women can't? Like, when did we decide this? And if you look at historically, look at just like right now, actually, look right now. Wealth, real wealth, right? The majority of the wealth, I don't even remember statistically what it is, but it is a lot. Let's just call it 95%, because it's a huge amount, is in the hands of the men. Why? Why don't women have wealth also? I am damn well sure that God was never the one that said, men have all the money and you women, you know what? You don't get any. You just have to get it through the men.
Yeah.
This is some bullshit. And
Yeah.
so this is twisted patriarchy, right?
Mhm.
And the thing that's beautiful is that it's shift, right? And now, I'm not talking about the boss babe way, because that's a whole other toxic, fucked up part, right? But it is proving to women and men that women can make the money. Women,
Yeah.
it's not a gender thing. It's not
Right.
a gender thing. And wealth is now even more so. It's been around for a little while, but it is going to be in more and more and more hands of women,
Mm.
because this is the energy that's been missing. This is the energy. I mean, like I had said in that post, Jesus' ministry was funded by wealthy women. Did we look at him as less of a man? And he wasn't poor either, for
No.
clarity's sake here, right?
Yeah.
His ministry was funded by wealthy women. Same with Buddha. His teachings were funded by wealthy women. So way in history, there have been women who were very wealthy. And then they got killed and turned
Burn at
into
the stake.
kind of devil and evil. And if you
Yeah.
think about it, really, let's really open people's eyes here for a second,
Yeah.
okay? Watch TV. Watch any Disney movie. Just watch movies and actually pay attention when a woman is powerful. Okay? There's one or two stories that are happening. Either she's a whore, okay? I'm not saying this is real, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is what the story portrays.
Yeah.
She is a whore who slept her way to the top.
Yep.
Okay? That's story one. Or story two, she's evil. She's either a huge evil ice queen bitch. Think of Snow White and the Huntsman with Charlize Theron, right? Beautiful, powerful, evil bitch, right? There's nowhere in between. So what does that say? Women are evil, or they're dirty whores, and this is the only way that they can get power. It is that's been created intentionally to disempower actually who the feminine really is, which has also hurt men,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because men don't even know what beautiful, loving, feminine energy is, because they've only seen this or this. And so she's either a huge cold bitch and she won't have sex with him, and she's critical and condemning and mean, or she's slept with all his friends, or she's an OnlyFans girl.
Yeah.
Whatever, right? Where is the truth of the feminine, right?
Yeah.
And so the beautiful thing is, she's right. She's around. And I'll be as so bold as to make this statement, because I say it with humility. I'm an example of it. I am an example of what real, true feminine energy, essence is. And I don't say that cocky. I say that with complete humility, because I've worked my ass off to become her. I have shed my bullshit to, reveal the true essence, right?
But
And
you
so,
adore men though. That's the thing. It's you adore men. You respect and that, and for I get asked this a lot. It's is in that post of the day. Women really don't know what men want.
yeah.
And I was actually gobsmacked with that post where people could go, "This is what's wrong with my partner,"
Yeah.
but they really had no clue about what men want. And most people, I just want sex. It's like, no. Part of it. But yeah,
But you know what's funny though? Women act like they don't want sex. They're fucking liars. They
yeah,
want to. Don't
yeah.
act like that's all he wants, and you're like, oh, okay, fine, I'll just do it. He
Because you
wants,
want to do it, yeah.
and if you don't want it, like there's some issues there. Like you're gonna
Yeah.
have to do something.
No,
Yeah.
that's right. I'm completely open. But so why don't women know what men want in a relationship? Where's the gap?
Oh, there's a lot to unpack there. They can have like mother wounds, father wounds. They could still be operating in their autopilot. They're the core of all of this, Greg, is that most people don't even know themselves, so they don't even know what they want.
Spot on.
And so the game is always inner, right? So you
Yeah.
have to understand who you are, what you
Yeah.
want, what makes you tick, what makes you happy, what all your stuff, right? And then you can understand another. Then you can, if you don't understand yourself at a deep level, you can't understand another person at a deep level, right? It's all perspective, it's all perception. And I think it was like the Greeks that coined the phrase like know thyself. Like that is the truth of all of this, right? And then even like take it up a notch from there. Know thyself and then have the courage to be that person no matter what.
Yeah.
So
And I think because that goes back to my first question about relationships being transactional.
yeah,
Is because you don't know yourself, you don't know what the other person needs or wants, and you're going in there from a wound, hoping that the relationship will actually fix you. And that's why your post that was so good about, relationships are here to make you more conscious.
yes.
They're here to trigger you to do it. And if you're so, then that's the great stuff about a lot of the work that you do. It's not just there's relationships and then there's what you do.
Yeah.
It's a whole reset, and you come at it from a whole different angle, and it's a whole reboot in the way that you view, the way that you show up, and what you want, what men want, the archetypes of that masculine and feminine energy. Because very few people have a clue, like zero clue. They just jump into bed with somebody, and all of a sudden, hey, we better make this relationship work.
Yeah.
Without any idea about the dynamics of a relationship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And especially today, like we're such a hookup casual culture, and there is nothing casual about having somebody penetrate you.
Yeah.
Penetrate you. There's nothing casual about
Yeah.
this, right? But we're like running around like using each other's like masturbation devices, and it's like most people don't get that you actually are exchanging energy with that other person.
Yeah. So if I'm I'm a guy, I'm confused, right? I used to think that, we come from a place of patriarchy, we're the breadwinners, we're here to serve and protect. Well, not serve, but here to provide and protect. That's how I've been brought up, okay? But I'm confused about my role in relationships these days because the dynamic has completely changed, completely shifted. It's all over the place. I think that by earning money that I'm getting, that's what I should be doing, but reality is I'm earning a lot of money and I have no respect. My relationship's falling apart. My kids don't respect me. I'm stressed out. You've got this whole shift in men today who have got complete confusion about what is it that I'm meant to do, because we're also telling men to be more emotional, be more vulnerable. That's more feminine.
Yeah.
Right? So, and he's sitting around going, oh, well, Andrew Tate's got, so I'm picking on Andrew Tate, but, he's got this massive following, and it seems that feeds a sort of need within me that, I feel something, a part of something, or it gives me something to inspire towards. But you've got this whole generation of men, especially young men, confused about, well, what does it mean to be a man today?
Are you asking me something?
Yeah. So how do you strip that back? How do you sort of, if a guy comes to you with that kind of confusion, what are you doing to try and help those men gain clarity about their roles in relationships today?
Yeah. So what I find often in the clients who tend to choose me and I choose them is a lot of them have mother wounds
Mm-hmm.
or wounds of the feminine.
Yeah.
And a lot, the vast majority, actually, now I'm thinking of it. And a lot feel bad about being a man in today's society, right? And so there is this primal part of men that society wants to like say is toxic and like in essence neuter you, right?
Yeah.
We can just call it fuck kill consciousness.
Yeah.
Okay, so fuck it or kill it, right? This is the primal part of the man.
Yeah.
And that is like genetically coded in men.
Yeah.
And it's not bad, wrong. It's none of this shit, right? And it's literally how God made men.
Yeah.
But society wants to paint this as wrong, bad, sick, right? And so what can tend to happen is they suppress it, they suppress it, they suppress it, they suppress it, they suppress their anger, they suppress their sexual urges, they suppress this fuck kill primal consciousness.
Yeah.
And then if they suppress it long enough, usually one of two things happen. One, they either take it out on themselves. So I'm depressed, I hate myself. They get into self-loathing, they get into potentially even killing themselves, like that dark, right? Because they've made themselves so bad and wrong. They're carrying so much shame around it because society is saying this is bad. You know, the church is saying this is bad. TV is saying this is bad. Everything is saying this is bad, right? And obviously this man is not aware of his shadows or that darker side, that prime, right? Or he's raping. He's dominating power over another to try to take that power back.
Yeah.
Or, right, and I went a little dark there for a minute. Or also, this can turn into revenge. This can turn into killing. This can turn into road rage. This can turn into some guy just like losing his shit and beating the hell out of a guy at a bar because he looked at his girlfriend sideways, right? So again, it's going to manifest somehow, and it's either externally, an explosion outwards, or internally, you know. And the thing that's sad in society is that we would rather that person implode. We would actually rather that person go kill themselves than to go express any form of anger.
Yeah.
Right? Because anger feels scary, and anger is normally outwardly expressed.
Well, it's
right?
labeled straight away. As soon as it's and all of a sudden, along with you said before, that toxic masculinity, like a guy who expresses anger, it's like, oh, red flag is expressing anger. But a man expressing anger in a very healthy way is quite transformational.
Yeah.
Yet we don't let them do it.
And it's sacred. Like, let's just be real here, Greg. All of our emotions are sacred. We're the ones that wouldn't be like, this is bad, this is good, this is right, this is wrong. Listen, if you weren't meant to feel it, you wouldn't fucking feel it.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
The only time it turns into toxic or unhealthy is when let's just keep burying it, stuffing it down, right? And then it explodes because the body is basically like, hey, fuck off, this is coming out.
Yeah.
Right?
And the thing is that it's very healthy to have someone like yourself nurture that in both men and women, because women are suppressing now as well too, right? Because yeah, right.
I suppressed my whole life.
Yeah,
I coached.
Yeah. So in that instance, you've got someone with you. What are some of the things you can help people do to transform those emotions that are deep down And I know there's a lot of techniques out there, but the reason why I'm interviewing you is because you can actually access that stuff pretty quickly and immediately and start to transform it, right in front of someone rather than spending 10 years in a therapy chair, right? So, which you don't want to do, talking about the problem over and over and over again. Like, you should be able to adapt to someone and go, right, let's get this out. But again, a man who actually gets to express his emotions in a very healthy way is very powerful, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So
how would you do that? Yeah. How would you sort of help them transform those deep-seated suppressed emotions?
Yeah. So the majority of my sessions are dropping them into their body and getting them to feel the uncomfortable emotion. So like an example of a common practice that I will take my clients through, because there's a common theme of inner child wounds. So, the little boy or the little girl who was shamed or made to be bad or wrong for whatever reason, right? So one of the processes I take them through is an inner child healing. And so actually, no, well, yes, but hold on. I want to share a different one first, because this one's even more powerful.
Yeah.
So our caregivers, normally our mother and or our father, sometimes it can be grandparents, right? But, we have typically a masculine and a feminine caregiver, and sometimes there's absence of those, right? So a part or a process I will take clients through, it's not the first session, it's sometimes the second or third session, is liberating that. So I like to call it like a mother or a father wound, right? And so in it, I drop them in their body, their eyes are closed, and it's kind of like feels like a meditative type process, but it's quite as peaceful as meditation. And so I'm getting them to drop in their body, right? Because there's these felt senses that need to be felt in order for that to be released, right? So, or to like lose its grip. So if it's a father wound as an example, right, I'll have them set up 4 pillows and they're sitting on a pillow. They have a pillow in front of them, they have a pillow to their left, and they have a pillow to their right. And close their eyes. I take them through a little process to get them to really just be in their body and kind of be out of their head. And then I have them imagine, right? And we've done some work for me to understand. Is there issues with dad? Is there issues with mom, right?
Yeah.
I have them face the pillow, one of the pillows to the left, and then I have them express. They see their mother, they see their father there, right? Have them express all the times that they ever felt sad, hurt, betrayed, fearful, and any of like the darker negative, you could just call them negative emotions. And I highly encourage them before that to just fucking let it rip. Like, let it all out, right?
Yeah.
Rage, cry, throw shit. I got you. It's all welcome, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I'm like helping them to like really encourage them to just whatever is true, let it out, right?
Yep.
A lot of times there's tears. A lot of times there isn't tears because they're not quite ready to feel it. It's heavy, right?
Yeah.
And then after they're done saying all the things I have to say, then have them turn to the pillow to the right, and then they see that same mother or father going over to the right. And now I have them share with their mother or father, what are you grateful for? What do you love about them?
Oh, the perspective shift. Well done. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah.
And what's interesting, depending on their relationship, right?
Yeah.
Is sometimes the only thing they're grateful for is like, you taught me how to be a better parent because you were a shitty fucking parent. And they're like, and I'm done.
That's just one thing. Yeah. Look, that'd be quite a hard, especially if you do have that deep-seated trauma with your caregivers, to sit there and actually turn to that version of them and give them some kind of compliment. Like, that'd be quite confronting.
Yes. And they are, the majority of everybody is very surprised with what comes up, right? And
Mhm.
so the thing that is so beautiful about this, and then I do some other things too, but just kind
So
of
we won't give away your secrets. Yeah.
no, the other thing that I do too is then it's like, okay, watch, think them, and then watch them leave.
Yep.
And then in front of you, imagine, so if it was their father, imagine your inner masculine. Or a lot of times I have to change the language. And so
Yep.
right? What verbiage, what language resonates for you, right? Because this isn't I want you to think about if you could choose the most perfect father as an example for using a father, right? This isn't like your man that you're,
Yep.
wanting to manifest, but if you could choose, if you chose the most perfect father, I want you to just imagine, but he's not your father, okay? Think of like divine masculine. Think that, okay? Perfection, highest self masculine. God said here, right? Well, God did actually technically with the other one,
Yeah.
but anyway, you see that person sitting there, right? And it's like, okay, describe this person. What do they look like? What do they sound like? What do they feel like? And then they go into all of that. And it's almost always this beautiful truth about what a masculine man is, right? So they'll
Mm.
say, he feels like a warrior. He feels safe. I feel protected around him. He could
But it has nothing to do with money, doesn't it? This is the thing. It has nothing to do with money.
nothing to do with money. They don't even mention money.
Money.
They don't even, and actually I'm getting like tingles as we're having this conversation. I love that. And they'll say, and he can go kick somebody's ass and then also have this big, beautiful open heart, like simultaneously, right?
Mm.
Sometimes they see a knight and sometimes they literally see, like this big warrior type looking man. It's all like what comes to them. So I'm just encouraging them to go in their own self. It's not my picture, it's their picture, right?
Mm.
And then once they feel this, then I have them imagine that this presence, that this divine masculine energy is now coming behind you and is wrapping his arms around you. And he's giving you unconditional love and unconditional support. Like, I am here for you no matter what.
And that's the essence.
Mhm.
That's the
And
essence.
sometimes they feel resistance to it and they'll like share that with me, like, no.
Sometimes it'd be a fair bit, wouldn't it? Like the resistance to that would be a fair bit.
Yeah, there are people who sometimes they feel resistance and sometimes they're like, well, that feels so good, right?
Yeah.
And then after that, I walk them through like certain voice notes and certain meditations so that they can incorporate feeling on a daily
Yeah.
basis. And for a woman, as an example, who had a father wound, now that is like one process that helps her to heal that wound that she, like she's basically making every man she dates pay for what
Yeah.
her did or did not do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where do we get this idea that from a female perspective that thing we're looking for, which you just described now, equates to financial well-being?
Ooh, no, somewhere along the lines, right?
Yeah.
Like well, like what was the year when we were like stay at home and didn't work and like I don't even know what that year was.
50s and 60s, something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. So it was somehow indoctrinated in us, right? Woman's job is at home in the kitchen, blah blah blah, right? Raise children. And hey, that's a beautiful thing too if you want that. Like I had both. I knew, so my mom was a single mom, even though she got married like 1,000 times. Just it still felt very much like single mom, and so she always worked. And so I
Yep.
was either in daycare, childcare, or at my grandma's house, or at babysitters or something, right? And so I knew that when I had children, that wasn't going to happen. I wanted to stay at home with them. I was so excited about being a mom.
Yeah.
So such a gift. And I made sure that I chose a husband. Okay, we're getting into like conditioning here, that I could do that with. And then
Mm.
that was our deal. Like,
Yeah.
you go out and you make the money, and I'm staying here in the house, and I'm going to take care of the house and take care of the children, and I'm going to take care of you.
Yeah.
Right? Like I took my role as a wife and as a mother very seriously. He didn't have to worry about shit. He just had to make the money. That's all he had to do. And the unfairness for me is I did too much. Like, truly, he was just the money.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
He barely participated with the raising the children.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Because-
I mean, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, I understand what you're saying is because you for some time, you know, it has been this sort of stereotype
Yeah.
that because you're financially secure, then you are secure. Because for a guy to have wealth, or any person to have wealth, right?
Yes.
They must be committed. They must sacrifice. They must be determined. They must be courageous. They must be, you know, inventive, right? So all these qualities, we have that, you know, drive us to be financially secure. I can understand why that's attractive.
Yeah.
Because they're sort of some of the qualities we're looking for, especially in a partner, especially it's like, does he have determination? Does he have self-reliance? Does he have the ability to keep sticking to the job regardless of to get knocked down and get back up again? All those really strong masculine qualities, like I can really see as to why they've sort of been joined together.
Yes. Yeah. And if we think about who we are innately, right, as a man and as a woman, most of the time, not always, women are naturally more nurturing, more loving, more intuitive, more flow, right? More, think of us as like the water, and the man is like the dam, if you will, right? Or think of us like the fire, like the wild, right? And the man is like the structure, so to speak, to like contain it or to like hold it. So obviously it's attractive for a woman if a man has that natural leadership, natural drive, because that is more masculine energy, right? Leadership, drive, determination, focus. So of course that is attractive. Just like for a man, it is attractive if a woman can submit, if she is soft, right? Soft doesn't mean weak either, okay? People, doesn't mean weak. Soft, right? Like she is his peace when he's out there battling the world, so to speak, right? Like she is his sanctuary, really, right?
Yeah.
Like she's his tenderness, she's his support. And it doesn't mean he doesn't support her too, but her natural essence of loving, kindness, caring, nurturing, and not to be confused with mothering. That is not sexy. Okay?
Yeah, not sexy. No, mothering is not sexy.
Mother the children, not the husband. Okay?
Yeah. We want you to be the vixen. We want you to be we want you to be the sorceress. We want you to be the play the game, kind of the seductress kind of thing as well too, right? We want you to be that kind of, we want you to be, we want the challenge. We want to have to figure you out. We have to put some effort in as well too. So don't sort of hold some stuff back as well too.
You don't lie. You want the sacred slut. Great.
Everyone's after.
For him too. Like she wants to like unleash her, inner dominatrix, right? Like her like wild side. Like that sensual, sexy, like you said, seductress. Like, yes, she wants to unleash that. she also has to feel there's a couple things going on here. She has to feel that he can handle that side of her,
Mm.
right? Handle that side. Because
Yeah.
if a man can hold, I don't want to say contain it. If he can't hold that wild, she will intuitively feel it inside.
Mm.
She will hold that part
Yeah.
because she doesn't want to be judged. She doesn't want to be criticized. She doesn't want to feel like, am I being too slutty?
Or rejected.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
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 And he has to, inside of himself, be able to embody that. You could call it dark divine,
Yeah.
masculine, feminine, right?
Yeah.
Like the wild, the sensual, the sexy, the life force, the audacious, the bold, right? That is like that dark divine energy, whether it's masculine or feminine.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think we've opened some doorways here for our next conversation.
Okay.
Because, I mean, there's the path of unleashing your darkness is a path to many a power. There's quite alchemical, let's call it that. It's people try and shun the duality of who we are, because we've all got dark and light in all of us, right? We've all got part psychopath, murderer. We've got part, Gandhi and all that kind of. Like, hey, look, Gandhi is a perfect example. Gandhi used to beat his women. He had multiple wives, used to beat his wives.
I didn't know that about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got this, there's people that put him up on the pedestal. He had massive issues in relationships.
Yeah, to your point, we want to deny our own duality, right? And it's our own humanity too.
Yeah. And this is the thing, is that people, if you want to actually, this is why it's so important to go into the nature, like you said, know thyself at the start.
Yeah.
Like, that's the greatest thing you can spend money on these days, is to know thyself, because from there, everything starts to open up. And it's not something you do for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
It's a lifelong journey of unveiling aspects of yourself to go deeper into how relationships sort of show up. So
yeah,
I think we've got a little path here to follow over a few conversations, especially around connection, intimacy, sex, tapping, because a lot of people don't talk about that. A lot of people don't talk about, that stuff coming out in the bedroom, because it's all taboo kind of thing, right? But it's a very big, massive part of a relationship that's quite often suppressed.
Yeah.
But it's, I would like to see your take on some of that stuff, especially because it's about giving the female perspective, giving your perspective on that. Because a lot of men don't have no clue. They have no idea. So, be going down that path with you, guys are going to listen and go, oh, God, I didn't know that about a female. Didn't know that about a female. That's why seeing someone like you is highly, vitally important, because, the biggest win you can get in life is your connection with another human being.
Yeah.
Yet we focus all our energy on other stuff. Doesn't matter.
I know.
And then we get to the end of our life and think, oh, there's regret there. Like, yeah.
Yeah, because we would just walk around guarded. And the thing that most people don't get is that you walk around like this armor around your heart, right? And you think it's going to protect you from the pain. And it might.
Yeah.
But simultaneously, it's protecting you from the very thing you want, which is to be loved. You can't keep one out without the other. It doesn't work that way.
That is such a great way to finish this off. That's a great comment. That's beautiful.
Well, thank you. It's true.
It's true. It's true. Well, people, that's our second chat with Mel. I love the way that you sort of just banter back with me backwards and forwards. I love how you just pick up on just me answering random questions. Like, guys, we don't script this. I rock up, Mel rocks up, and I ask a question, and we go with it. That's how you're seeing a master here. This is the thing, is that this is not scripted. You're seeing someone who just goes bang because she knows her stuff. We will definitely go in the path of more intimate stuff in our next episode. But I think if you want to follow Mel, she's got so much great content on her Facebook page. There's stuff on there that's very, very controversial. Not from my perspective, but talking about the boss babe stuff. Look,
Yes.
I really appreciate it, but how can people get in touch with you? What's the best way for people, and have you got any courses or anything coming out in the next, we're recording this in, end of August, so this will be out in September. So anything coming up on your end?
So they can find me on Instagram and on Facebook. Those are like the two primary social media things I'm on. I am Melanie Verstraete on Instagram, and then Facebook, Melanie Verstraete. The name of my company is called The Wild Heart Life, and so they can just Google that, and then you can see like different ways to work with me. There's like some free stuff there. There's course stuff there. There's whatever you want to know is there.
Guys, this is not normal relationship coaching. This is nothing to do with. This is so far beyond. This is not funny, and to get people like Melanie to have access to her, is like you go and see couples coaching or relationship coaching or therapy, and it's like you understand why it doesn't work. You go and see someone like Melanie, and you get an expert. You get somebody at the top of the field who can actually will push every single button inside of you. But that's the reason why, is because beyond that is this beautiful thing that opens up. So, well, thank you very much for jumping on again. I really appreciate it. And I've got such a list of things to talk to you about. I'm just going to keep bugging you to come on and have a chat.
That sounds great. Thank you so much for having me. It is definitely my honor.
So, guys, I'll put the details down for Melanie below this. You can get into contact with her. Definitely just get on her Facebook, get on Instagram, because the content on there is great. The free stuff's great. You'll reach out to her. I'll put some details down below. But I will see you in the next episode of The One. I'll see you guys later.
Thank you for listening to The One podcast with Greg Riley. For all my content, check out my Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube pages. For inquiries about one-on-one coaching, please send all requests to gregsgregriley.com.au. Thank you once again for listening, and I look forward to sharing more content, creating deep insights to propel your life forward